Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the North Shore 9 Postgame Show powered by Primanti Brothers. I am Jim. With me today is Doug. Doug, we've been saying for a while now the losses are going to be very, very frustrating, and I don't know if it gets more frustrating than today.
Yeah, we've been joking for a couple of weeks. It's the most important series. It's the most important game, and it's been a little tongue in cheek. But today, when we were up 4-0, it became a must-win game, and to lose like that, and that was a tough one. It was a tough one to take, and just like I said Friday, I'm still haven't quite processed it yet. It for much of the game, we felt like, all right, we're going to take 2 out of 3 of the series. We're going to pick up a game on Arizona. We're only going to be a game and a half behind them. Everything looked good. And then, Pirates got a pirate. I don't know what else to say. A lot of things happened. A lot of things, it was just right. We got good enough.
There's a whole lot to talk about today. Across the board, there's this show there will be a lot to talk about. So before we get there, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your #1 source for everything online sports betting. Right now, you can receive a 50% free bet up to $250 on your first deposit to bet on anything from the Olympics to baseball to Formula One racing. BetOnline is every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to the online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. BetOnline, the game starts here. Okay. I want to start in the 7th inning of today's game. I feel like that's where the pendulum shifted, right? Like you were feeling pretty good about this game, and then all of a sudden the momentum completely swung in the favor of Arizona. And unfortunately, we have to talk about it again.
In my defense, it's pouring down rain here.
I said, and we've got to talk about it again here, but Colin Holderman goes into the game to relieve Hunter Stratton to start the 7th. Holderman hasn't been good lately. He pitched last Sunday against Arizona, gave up 3 runs. He pitched on Wednesday against Houston, gave up a run. He pitched on Friday against Arizona, gave up a run. So he's given up a run in 3 straight appearances. He picked up the loss on Wednesday against Houston, picked up the loss on Friday against Arizona. So he comes in, 7th inning, 2-run lead, 4-2 Pirates. He walks the leadoff batter. Geraldo Perdomo gets on base. Then the Diamondbacks amazingly bunted Perdomo over to second. They just gave the Pirates an out there. Thankfully, that happened because this inning could have been probably a lot worse than it was. But the Diamondbacks give the Pirates an out. He then walks Corbin Carroll, 1st and 2nd, 1 out. To his credit, he strikes out Ketel Marte to get the 2nd out. But then you got Jock Peterson heading up, who Peterson's been hitting the ball well all series, it seems. He's been putting together some good at-bats. He's been crushing the righties. Jalen Beeks, who has pitched 2 straight games, is warming up in the bullpen, ready to go if needed. So at this point, if you're Derek Shelton, you've got to make a decision. Do you let Colin Holderman pitch to Jock Peterson? Or do you go Jalen Beeks, which then probably means Arizona pinch hits Randall Grichuk. So you've got Beeks versus Grichuk. We can say that there's other options. You could have Chapman warming up, but right. Those are the options that he had at that exact moment in time. He chose to stick with Holderman. Holderman gives up a 3-run homer to give the Diamondbacks a 5-4 lead. And that was it. That was it. Diamondbacks grab the lead. They don't relinquish it. and this is a rough loss. This is a rough loss. You lose the season series now to Arizona, which means if you do have to deal with a possible tiebreaker down the road, you lose that tiebreaker. So now, instead of finishing tied with Arizona, you have to beat Arizona if you want to get into the playoffs. And there are now 4 games, 3.5 games ahead of the Pirates. So, Doug, my question to you: 1, do you stick with Holderman there? I guess that's my question. It's just one question.
I'm not sure I would have brought him in the first place.
Okay.
Right. I'm not sure. I mean, look, he's not pitching well. I don't, I don't want to run him out of town. But he needs to be in less high leverage situations for a while. He needs to he needs to have a couple clean innings and get his confidence back. And we needed this game. We needed this win. And so I'm not sure that I would have brought him in. And I understand sticking with your guys and and all that stuff. But, we're talking about making the playoffs, something that's, this is not a common occurrence. We've had sort of miracle after miracle this year with, Joey Bart and the rookie pitchers and just, guys kind of coming out of nowhere, making stuff happen. And Holderman's not the guy to go to right now. He's just not. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that hurts anybody's feelings. It's tough. It's performance based now. And for the first time in a long time, we're playing meaningful baseball. So, yeah, I certainly, I don't think I would have brought him in. And for sure, I would have preferred to see Beeks versus Grichuk than Holderman versus Jock Peterson there. So if I would have brought him in, right, if I had to, at that point, I think I would have pulled them. I mean, we needed to win this game. It was, we're not no auditions. We're not letting people work stuff out. We're not letting people, find themselves. You have to perform. If not, I'm sorry, you got to move out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it there. The bullpen was a little taxed going into today, right? So there is that caveat here. But at the same time, as a manager, you can't let one guy blow 3 straight games for you. I mean, this is a span of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. In 5 days, Derek Shelton has allowed Colin Holderman to lose 3 games. 3 very winnable games, 3 must-win games. Derek Shelton's allowed him to lose those games. And Holderman's been shaky for a while now, right? We've been talking about it, right? So Holderman's looked shaky.
Yeah, this isn't the second shaking out, right?
Yep. You continue to put him in these situations where, like, very high leverage situations, and he's not coming through. This is now 4 straight outings he's given up a run. This is now 4 home runs he's given up over his last 4 appearances. Again, lost Wednesday, lost Friday, lost today, all Colin Holderman. Yeah, I mean, we give Shelton credit when he deserves it, and I think he deserves some credit for like the beginning part of that Houston series. Like, I think he pulled a lot of strings that ended up working. But today wasn't it, and when you're competing for a playoff spot, every single game matters so much. So every single move like this gets put under a microscope. And today he missed today, right? Like, this loss,
yeah,
you could say, like, I want to say I'm still blaming Holderman more than I'm blaming Shelton, right? Like, Holderman came in, clean inning, up by 2. You've got to get out of that inning with a lead. Like, you can't blow it in that situation. If you're a major league pitcher, you need to be able to come through there. But to just say my piece on Shelton, I gave him some praise, over the last week or so when he was pulling the right strings. Today, he didn't do it. It was a bad decision to bring Holderman in.
Yeah, I agree.
Had other arms available. And then whenever you're facing Jock Peterson, and that Holderman has shown you this outing that he wasn't looking great. You let Holderman face the lefty power bat, and that was all she wrote. It was a bad decision, bad pitching. It was just a bad inning all around by both Holderman and Shelton.
Yeah. Yeah. You summed it up perfectly. Right. Shelton has done some good things this year, no doubt. But that, right. And that wasn't hindsight. This is not, gee, it didn't work out afterwards. As soon as he went in, I'm like, why? Why are you putting him in? And then when he didn't pull him, when Peterson was up, I mean, it's like he made the mistake and then he doubled down on the mistake. All right. It's okay. You got a 2-run lead. Let's see if we can get him his confidence back. If he gets a couple outs, but when, he's got guys on base like that, he's not pitching well. Your ultimate, responsibility is win today's game. So.
Yeah, I mean, originally I was thinking that like Chapman wasn't available. I didn't think Beeks was going to be available. Beeks had thrown back-to-back games, but the fact that Beeks was warming up and then he put Beeks in to pitch the 8th inning,
right? And then Beeks did pitch, right?
Right. So it's like, why did we wait? Why did we wait? And if Chapman was available, then that's Chapman's batter. Like Chapman needs to be ready to go for that. If Chapman was truly available for that game, that's Chapman's situation. It's
that's
not
an easy
Holderman's.
call, right?
It's not even Beeks' situation. Yeah, it's Chapman's situation at that point. So, it sucks because again, all these games they count so much. They count so much this time of year. And especially against these opponents, you're facing the guys who you're directly competing against for these playoff spots, and you have to win the games that you're supposed to win. And this was a game they should have won, plain and simple. They were winning 4-0 in the 6th inning of today's game, and they lost. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do that against these teams that you're competing against for playoff spots and expect to get one of those playoff spots at the end of the day. Going into today, I think they had a 14% chance of making the playoffs. After today, it's probably going to be around 10. Like this was this probably shrunk their playoff odds by about a third. This loss.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you went from winning the series, you went from having a 4-2 week. It was costly. It hurts. It's winning tomorrow will be great, but it's not enough, right? I mean, we're running out of. I mean, certainly there's 50 games left. I mean, plenty of time, but you're making it harder on yourselves, right? This was a stretch where you get San Diego and Arizona, 12 times. You had a chance to make up some ground or put some distance between you, and you're through 8 innings, you're doing it, and then you're giving it away. And this team isn't good enough to make these kind of mistakes and recover from them. The Dodgers can recover from this, right? Arizona can even, but the Pirates, when they have a win, and you got to nail it down. There's just no other option. You have to nail these wins down.
You mentioned you don't have another chance, but they did. The Pirates gave themselves another chance in this game. So let's go to that. In the bottom of the 9th,
right.
First off, the Diamondbacks added on to their lead with a Ketel Marte homer in the 9th off of Jake Woodford, which we can get into that too. But I want to talk about the bottom of the 9th because I think this was another mistake by Derek Shelton. Again, like I don't want to blame losses totally on Shelton because a lot is on the players. But this was just another situation where I don't think Derek Shelton put his team in the best position to win this game. So in the bottom of the 9th, Andrew McCutchen pinch hits for Jared Triolo, gets on base with a walk. Yasmani Grandal comes through with a single. So you're cooking. You've got runners on first and second, nobody out. Isiah Kiner-Falefa now up to bat, the new guy who's having a good game. He's doubled, he's tripled, and he's facing Riley Thompson for Arizona. You're down by 2. You're down by 2 here. Nobody out. Shelton calls for the sacrifice bunt. I could see the argument on going with the bunt. If it's a successful bunt, you get runners on second and third, 1 out, and then a base hit ties the game, right? But at the same time, you've won. We don't really know necessarily how good of a bunter Isiah Kiner-Falefa is. We haven't seen him. I'm sure there's some, they've got some data around it, but the thing about sacrifice bunts is they aren't always successful. So you kind of have to take that into effect, right? So Shelton orders the bunt. Isiah Kiner-Falefa pops it up right to the pitcher. 1 out. Just gave up the at bat. You have 3 outs to use for the remainder of this game. and the Pirates gave one away to the Diamondbacks in the bottom of the ninth, down by 2. I don't like that move. I wouldn't have bunted there under any circumstance, especially when you've got like Reynolds and Cruz coming up who, I mean, let's be face it, they're hot right now. You just want people on base for those guys because if you're on first, you're in scoring position because of the way that they've been hitting the ball. So I was not a fan of it. Want your thoughts on it? I mean, regardless if it was successful or not, I think it was the bad call.
I've never, yeah, right. Yeah, I've never liked the sacrifice bunt. Long before analytics said it was a bad thing, I hated it. Jim Leland used to use J Bell to sacrifice bunt all the time. His theory was if you score the first run in the game, chances are you win, blah, blah, blah. I hated it then. J Bell's a good hitter. Why don't we let J Bell just move him to third with a hit, that sort of thing. And that's what I thought here. This guy, he's a good hitter. He's having a great season. He's having a good game. And we can't afford to give outs away, And again, I don't know. Is he a good bunt? You would think he'd be a good bunter because he's just such a solid fundamental player. But he's in PNC Park, and the Pirates. There's some sort of spell. The Pirates cannot bunt. There is nobody. Guys that should be able to bunt on this team cannot bunt. We would have a better chance if we brought Bob Walk out from the booth and let him bunt because he successfully bunted throughout his career as a pitcher. Our players cannot bunt. We don't know how to do it. I mean, again, even if his bunt was successful, he should have been bunting toward third, and he popped out to the pitcher. I mean, I don't like that call. I never liked that call. I especially didn't like it in this situation. Mm-hmm. You've got, again, a good hitter, and then you've got your 2 best hitters coming up. Let's not give them outs. Let's not make it easy on them. So, I mean, again, if Kiner-Falefa could have had a productive out that got them to second and third, but there was also a chance that, he drove them in with a double. So just, I didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't like it at the time. I didn't like it after the fact. They were talking on the broadcast about maybe bunting there. And I was just like, no, don't bunt. And they did it anyways. And it didn't work out. Isiah Kiner-Falefa on the year, by the way, just for those wondering, 3 sacrifice bunts on the season. So, I mean, it's something that he's done before. He has 14 in his career, 3 on the year, but he was unsuccessful there. And so then you go first and second, 1 out, Brian Reynolds, who I can't say enough about Brian Reynolds, Doug. He's been just absolutely incredible for pretty much the entire year, but especially starting, once that calendar hit June. It's just continuing through June, through July, into August. A huge hit there in the 9th to bring home Andrew McCutchen. Michael A. Taylor, who pinch ran for Grandal, he gets to third. So now you've got the game-tying run on third with nobody out. But I can't say enough about Brian Reynolds. He's just been coming up big in big moments over and over and over again. This team would be he's a big reason why this team's even in discussions for a wild card at this point. He's been by far and away this team's best player on the offensive side, and again came through big again today.
And I mean, depending on how you look, I mean, I know they mostly give the most valuable player to the guy with the best stats, but is there anybody that's been more valuable to their team than Brian Reynolds has been to this team? I mean, he has been such a difference maker, such an impact player. It's just unbelievable. Time and time again, he's coming up. And I know there's been a narrative on him that, he only hits home runs when we're up 7-0. Not this season, not this year. He has come up in big time situations again and again and again. And I mean, you're starting to expect it. I felt certain that he was going to drive in a run. I was wondering how many, but I felt certain he was going to drive in a run. And boom, just like that. I mean, kind of why you let guys swing the bat, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's been.
Speaking of,
And
then speaking of swinging the bat, so that brings up O'Neal Cruz. The Diamondbacks bring in the lefty, newly acquired AJ Puck, their deadline acquisition. Who Cruz has, I feel like Cruz has hit Puck fairly well over the last couple of seasons, or at least this season. But it was a tough at bat. He gets ahead 3-0. He takes a fastball 3-0. fouls off 3-1 fastball, and then Puck just feeds him fastball, up and in fastballs pretty much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pitches in a row, up and in fastballs. Some of them strikes, some of them balls, but Cruz was just swinging at that point, it seemed like. Fouled off a lot of pitches, but then that 11th pitch of the at-bat, a really well-located fastball low and away, gets Cruz swinging. So, it was if it wasn't in the 9th inning with 1 out, you would say, you know what, that was a pretty good at-bat, O'Neal Cruz, but
Right.
pretty good at-bats don't do the job in the 9th inning with 1 out. You have to come through there. And then he wasn't able to go through there.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it seems like he may have swung at ball 4 a couple times, and right again, you would think, wow, 11 pitches. He made the guy work, but it wasn't the 1st inning. It wasn't the 4th inning. We needed to move runners, right? You just needed a sac fly. They weren't set up for the double play. A hard hit grounder could have got the run in. So it's unfortunate. This team so close, right? They're just so close. You're just like, golly, if they could just get it together a little, if they're a little more fundamentally sound, if they had a little better baseball IQ, that sort of thing, if they made just a little bit better decisions, we could be in a better, again, it was a tough loss on so many levels.
Yep. Comments kind of agreeing there, Yeah, he just lost that at bat, right? I mean, it was a battle, right? But he didn't come through. And then Brian De La Cruz, newly acquired right fielder, he sees 1 pitch, flies out to shallow right. So that was the ball game. We spent 23 minutes talking about what happened from the 7th inning on, Doug, which is kind of where that was where this game got to the nitty gritty. But let's talk a little bit about how we got to that point. Let's just talk about Paul Skenes for a bit. We haven't even brought up his name really. So Paul Skenes gets to start. I'll say this: it was a good start for Paul Skenes. It was a good start, right? 5 1/3 innings. He gives up 5 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. It's a good start. You would have liked to have gotten maybe a little bit more length out of him, but something was off with his command today. He threw 100 pitches, 44 of them for balls. Probably the most I've seen him just miss the strike zone and miss on his pitches than I've seen all year. Even with that lack of command, it was still a good outing. But yeah, that was kind of my main takeaway from Skenes was he clearly didn't have it today. He wasn't locating his pitches, but he still avoided hard contact. He avoided guys on base. When they did get on base, he induced a double play. He picked off a runner. Just again, a good start for Paul Skenes. Not his best, maybe even his worst, but overall, a good start.
Right. Yeah. In about the 4th or 5th inning, when we were still feeling pretty good, and I was watching him pitch, and it just occurred to me, he's going to improve. Right, he's going to get better. He's 14 starts into his major league career. He controls the running game. He pitches. He's just not trying to blow people away. I don't see how anyone gets into the box and has any kind of plan. Because if you're looking for the fastball, he might throw the cart. You just don't know. He's such a good pitcher. He's so smart. He's just in total command out there. And I'm like, he's going to get better. Wait till he gets 50 starts under his belt. Wait till he knows the league a little better, knows the hitters a little better. He's so good. We're so lucky. And we can't – right, it wasn't his best start by no means. But if his worst start is 5 1/3, 2 runs, yes, please sign me up for more of that. Extend him today. He just does a tremendous job out there. And I think he just imbues the whole team with confidence. I think everybody just feels, you see him out there. It's certainly, those in the stands, and he's making such a positive impact on this team. It'd be nice if we could help him out a little.
Yeah. I thought we did today, like with the 4 runs. I felt pretty comfortable with a 4-0 lead and Paul Skenes on the mound. And even when he exited the game,
Are
it was
you new
4-1.
to being a Pirates fan, Jim?
I know. I felt comfortable. He comes out, it's 4-1. Hunter Stratton gives up a lets one of the inherited runners score. But he gets out of the 6th inning, and you're up 4-2 with 9 outs to go. You still felt pretty good about it. But again, we already spent a lot of time talking about Holderman and what happened after that. But yeah, I think with Skenes, again, not his best start. I wouldn't call it a bad start. It was a good start. I think the unfortunate part of today is, as Mark says here in the comments, like the rain delay yesterday kind of messed up the game for the Pirates in that they had to use 5 innings worth of relief pitchers yesterday. And that ended
Keller
up
would have
coming
went
back to
7 or
bite
8.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came back
That's
to bite them
exactly
today
it.
because Keller was rolling yesterday. Like Keller
he
would have
looked-
pitched 7 innings, right?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. So the fact that the bullpen was a little short, they had to go to Holderman in that situation when you obviously would prefer not to go to him when needed right now. Yeah, they're going to have to figure out something. They got an off day tomorrow, so everybody should be available for this big San Diego series coming up. But I don't know if you can trust Colin Holderman to put him in a big spot for the foreseeable future. Like you got to, like Kyle Nicholas, I think has surpassed him in my bullpen rankings.
Yeah.
Like if I'm saying who's pitching a 7th, 8th, 9th, it's not Holderman, Chapman, Bednar. It's Nicholas, Chapman, Bednar.
Right. Yeah, I'd be interested to see if they could bring some. I'm wondering if any of these Burrows or any of these kind of guys could come up and maybe pitch in the bullpen the rest of the way or something. But yeah, Holderman. The next time he pitches, we should probably be in a game where we're trailing 4-0 or something, and see if he can go and figure something out there. It's again, I think he'll find it. I think he'll get it back, but we can't take the chance with a lead. We have to nail those down. And Stratton, some of these, I feel more comfortable with just about anybody in the bullpen at this point. So,
yeah, no, I thought Skenes did good. It was the bullpen and the offense who couldn't come through. The offense did add on early in this game. They got to Ryan Nelson early on. The new guys came through in the first inning. Isiah Kiner-Falefa with a double, Brian De La Cruz with a single. So that was a fun start to the game, right?
right.
And then
I was thinking it was a great Charrington game, right? Well, there's a great Charrington game going on. Grandal, De La Cruz, Falefa, Skenes, right? It was all these guys. I'm like, oh yeah, he must be sitting up there grinning ear to ear.
Yeah, the offense was rolling there in the beginning. In the second inning, Joey Bart gets hit, G1 Bay walks, Grandal with a double, and then Isiah Kiner-Falefa comes up with a 2-run triple. So yeah, you're thinking two innings in, 4-0 lead against Ryan Nelson. You've got Paul Skenes on the mound. Again, you're feeling pretty good about things. But then Pirates offense shuts down from that point on until the 9th inning, and then the Pirates bullpen just can't hold it. So
right,
it's
you were discussing on North Shore 9 the other night. The Pirates are this record with this many, and we keep saying 4 is the magic number, but twice now we've scored 4 runs early. Like if the Pirates score 4 runs early and then don't add on, I think their record is 0-72 or something, because it's a couple of times where we scored 4 runs. That's it. We stop. I know we finally added on again in the 9th, but it'd have been nice to chip away, just keep adding a few more here and there throughout. And keep, like I said, next time you put Holderman in, we have a 5-run lead or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, bad loss. They're now 56-55 on the year. That's a home series loss against a team that you just had to beat.
And that you had beat, right? You had them beat.
You had to beat them, and yeah, you had them beat. You should have swept this series. Like you had them beat in all 3 games,
right.
And you let Colin Holderman lose 2 of them. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. you're seeing the playoff chances just going down and down and down. I'm curious to see what it's going to be like tomorrow, but Arizona and San Diego seem to be playing at another level right now that the Pirates aren't able to match. And losing that season series to Arizona, it's bigger than just the wins and losses, because again, like if you both end the season with 85 wins, Arizona gets a tiebreaker, right? Because you couldn't win this game. So
I'm starting to like our chances of overtaking Milwaukee more than I am moving up in the wild card, as well as San Diego and Arizona are playing.
Yeah,
it's and if we keep giving games away, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. All right, well, let's get out of here. But yeah, Pirates lose 6-5. We'll be back tomorrow with an episode of Starbucks in the morning, so make sure you check that out at 7 a.m. Everybody watching in the chat, I know it's a frustrating game for you, but we appreciate you all in the chat. Like the video,
as angry as you are, we love you.
Like the video, subscribe to the page if you're listening or watching after the fact. We appreciate you guys as well. You got anything else to add, Doug?
No, it's a tough beat. Now you got to break out the baseball cliches and start one game at a time. To starting on Tuesday, right? Win the game in front of you.
Yeah, they just gotta win at a pretty good clip from here on out.
Yeah.
All right.
And they definitely got to stop beating themselves.
Yep. Yep. All right, guys. Thanks again. We'll catch you all tomorrow. Talk to you later.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.